The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue seas, fields of green and sandy yellow beaches too. The island also has loads of trains and railway lines. But who's that just puffing round the track? It's a tank engine that is named Thomas. He welcomes you to meet his friends, working together to make anything just work. 'Cause when an obstacle comes along, the train ride makes it worthless. When friendship and teamwork is on your side, nothing's impossible with Thomas and his friends.
Percy is a small green tank engine with 4 wheels. He likes to puff along the tracks with his loads of passengers and goods. And he also likes to feel really useful, like his friends. One morning, Percy was very excited. The Fat Controller had sent him to work with James and Finn McMissile at a special workshop. I can't wait to see what cool gadgets Finn is inventing, Percy puffed to himself. When Percy arrived, Finn had something special to show the engines. What is it? Asked Percy. It is my latest addition to Sodor's never-ending war of crime, Finn announced. They're part of a kit I call the suit. Ta-da! Percy and James were impressed. It has supersonic flight wheels, a laser targeting bow tie, and it has a special shooter that shoots 3 different flavours of frozen yogurt. I need a volunteer to test the suit, added Finn, but it's incredibly dangerous, so you have to be completely bonkers to get in it. I'm in it, shouted Percy. He had already been fitted with a suit. James and Finn were surprised. Well, alright then, said Finn. Just make sure you do exactly as I... But before Finn could finish, Percy thrust at the suit's engine and flew away like a rocket. Burst my buffers! Cried Percy. Help! Percy cannoned into the testing ground. Percy shut his eyes tight. He was scared, but he landed on the track safely. Percy was relieved. Good work, Percy, said Finn. Now, please exit the suit. Are you kidding? Replied Percy. This suit is so awesome! I'm never taking it off! And Percy flew away again. Go get him, James, shouted Finn. And James raced away. Meanwhile, at the Diesel Works, Diesel 10, Splatter, Dodge and Professor Z were hatching an evil plan. Diesel 10 had a bowler hat on Pinchy and a grey moustache across his face, snarling the mayor on Sodor with Pinchy and then impersonate him is a brilliant plan, boss, said Professor Z. Oh yes, stuttered Diesel 10, that was my plan. You didn't think I just woke up this morning wanting to wear a fake moustache and roll along the line, did you? That's what you told us you wanted to do, boss, answered Splatter. When I'm mayor, I'm totally banishing you, splotch, fumed Diesel 10. Meanwhile, James was chasing Percy down the line. James to Percy, activate landing sequence, James called out. Percy, Get in it, James, now, replied Percy. Then there was trouble. Percy wasn't watching where he was going. Percy crashed straight into a wall of the diesel works and accidentally set up a special squirter of strawberry frozen yogurt all over the diesels. This is terrible, grumbled Diesel 10. There's no toppings on this yogurt. While the mess was cleaned up, a large crowd camped around Percy, clapping and cheering for him. Just as James arrived, a news van showed up. Scooter Thompson for Sodor News with live coverage of the super engine who foiled the diesels for what he is doing. Let's hear it for Iron Engine. Well, I'm not really Iron Engine, replied Percy. I'm just an ordinary average. But before Percy could reply, a crowd of ladies hugged his boiler. We love you, Iron Engine, they cried. Super awesome hero named Iron Engine, Percy called out. Everyone loved Percy, but James was a little cross. Later, at Knapford Station, James was talking to Peter, the yard manager, about Percy. James, I've got a very important question to ask you, said Peter. You want to know how Percy is getting all the credit for stopping Diesel 10 when he clearly has no idea what he's doing? Replied James. Actually, answered Peter, I was going to ask if you could get Iron Engine's autograph. It's for my mother. Her name's Peter. Just then, Percy rushed in. It's Iron Engine! Cried Peter. Percy looked at James. You want to be my sidekick? You're going to need a much cooler costume than that. I'm not your sidekick, huffed James. Then the fat controller walked quickly from his office. Then Missile told me that Diesel 10 is trying to destroy the school. Iron Engine, you and your sidekick must shove right away to stop him. Yes, sir, puffed Percy, and he flew off. Meanwhile, the Diesels were at the school. This time, Diesel 10 was dressed up as a lady. Boss, starring the principal in Pinchy and take her place is pure genius, said Professor C. All right, stuttered Diesel 10 again. That was my plan. You didn't think I wanted to stand outside the school in a women's dress, did you? That's what you told me you wanted to... But before Splatter could say any more, Pinchy whacked him. Ouch, he groaned. Dodge chuckled. You always was a sucker for ladies, boss. Pinchy whacked Dodge too. Ouch! Never call me a sucker, Splotch, fumed Diesel 10. Ow! Sorry, boss, groaned Dodge. Suddenly, they could see the principal coming out of her office and walking towards her car. Hide! Shouted Diesel 10. They were just about to when they heard a strange sound of a rocket jet. Look up in the sky! Cried Professor C. It's a steam train. It's a kite! Shouted Dodge. Ah! I've looked into the sun! It's Iron Engine! Screamed Diesel 10. Activate landing sequence! Cried Percy, but he accidentally turned on his jet thrusts and crashed into the diesels. Once again. Percy then squirted out frozen yogurt for the children, who clapped and cheered. Hooray for Iron Engine, who saved us from weird diesel in the dress, they cheered. Just then, James arrived. Glad he can make it, sidekick, puffed Percy grandly. Say something funny. Sidekick should be funny. I'm out of here, sighed James, and he puffed away. I don't get it, muttered Percy. Maybe my driver should write down some stuff here. Diesel 10 was cross. I've got to stop Iron Engine, he bellowed. As long as he's around, I can't wear mustaches and dresses. The Diesel stared at him. Commit manly crimes. Now how do I get this rig off? He added. Later, back at Titmouth Sheds, the engines were watching the Sheds TV. It was explaining about Iron Engine's mania. This is Sodor Network. Special report. Iron Engine mania is sweeping the island of Sodor. Children are eating Iron Engine cereal. Iron Engine action figures and Iron Engine costumes in children's sizes. And fat controller sizes. Yay! Iron Engine has licensed his likeness to every product imaginable. Duh, this whole Iron Engine thing is getting way out of hand, he puffed crossly to Percy. And I'm tired of all this sidekick stuff. We're supposed to be a team. Who cares? Replied Percy. Oh, did my adventures get turned into an animated TV show too? Oh yeah, said James sarcastically. You did get turned into an animated TV series. Except you're a white dog, your voice is dubbed by this hairy trainer guy, and your name is Dudley Puppy. Oh, that... Wait a minute, replied Percy. Isn't that your cartoon? Yes. I still hate that show. Just then, Graham puffed up. Hey, guess what, Iron Engine? You've been invited to the League of Superheroes potluck dinner. Well, that sounds totally inanimate, said Percy. There's no such thing as a League of Superheroes, huffed James. Again, not funny, replied Percy crossly. Have you read any of the stuff my driver wrote down for you? And Percy set off to the League of Superheroes. Well, James, not so popular after all, aren't you? Teased Graham. Ugh, I hate you as well, James fumed back. I know, Graham puffed cheekily, and he puffed away. Why did Finn agree to let Percy join the agency? James puffed to himself. Why? Percy soon arrived at the entrance of the League of Superheroes. He saw it up with a sign. It says, League of Superheroes this way. I hope those superheroes like my driver's macaroni surprise, he puffed to himself. But what Percy didn't know is that the League of Superheroes is actually at the Diesel Works. When Percy puffed in, he could see the superheroes were dangling from the ropes. They were the Diesels in disguise, of course. Iron Engine, cried Diesel 10. Welcome to the superhero hangout. As you can see, we are clearly superheroes because we can all fly. Allow me to introduce the gang. I'm Supermarket. I can fight high prices with every day's discount. Have some coupons. Pinchy flew up and coupons flew everywhere. And this is German Stud. And this is Captain Sodor. And this is Wonder Diesel. Wow! Cried Percy foolishly. It's great to be in the place of so many awesome superheroes. Now we'll perform our annual routine of switching super suits, said Diesel 10. Switching suits? Of course. What do you think? I made that up? Well, okay. So Percy and Diesel 10 came out of the Diesel Works in each other's costumes. Percy had Diesel 10's costume, and Diesel 10's had Percy's, but Percy was unsure. Does this make my coal bunker look big? No, cried Diesel 10, but it makes your brain look small, for I, Diesel 10, have the awesome power of Iron Engine Super Suit. Diesel 10 was going wild. He was shooting lasers everywhere. Percy began to race away. I can't believe I fell for an old superhero switch suits for nothing trick, he cried. I need help. Meanwhile, at the special workshop, Finn was installing a video wristwatch on James's buffer. Suddenly, James received his first call. Unfunny sidekick speaking. James, cried Percy from inside the wristwatch. Diesel 10 took my suit! and all I have are coupons! I have nothing! I was wrong! I do need you as a partner! Help! James, you've got to go and save him, cried Finn. I know, Finn, sighed James, because even though this iron engine stuff's going to his head, he is still a really useful engine. Actually, I was going to say you still haven't seen my iron engine nut spots, but we'll go with your theory, and James raced away to the rescue. Meanwhile, Percy was cornered by the diesels at the entrance of the diesel works. You're outnumbered, said Diesel 10, and I look fantastic. Any last words? I just want to say that being a really useful engine is about trusting your friend and not being the star. If James were here, I'd tell him that he means more to me than any yogurt-making flying suit. That was really beautiful and seriously moving and heartfelt and prepare to perish in pain. Then James burst through and bumped into Dodge, who ran into the building. Not on my watch! The diesels gasped in surprise. It's the unfunny sidekick, they cried. He's not my unfunny sidekick. He's James, the really splendid red engine, my unfunny friend. You mean ex-friend? Diesel 10 started launching the suit's rockets, and James raced away, with Diesel 10 chasing after him. Percy, we gotta find a way to stop the suit, said James, Vicom. Does it have a weakness? I don't know, cried Percy. It's a perfect fighting machine. The lasers, the jets, the yogurt shooter. Then, an idea bobbled in James's boiler. The yogurt shooter, that's it! Grab as much corn as you can. My driver has the corn. It's not good enough. Soon, James's plan was soon put into action. Percy's driver remembered seeing the corn in one of the trucks. He opened the lid and threw it onto Splatter, which toppled him over. James raced along the line, still being chased. He raced past through the next station. Most of the other engines were surprised at what was going on. Please, Diesel, cried James, whatever you do, don't shoot yogurt on me. It will ruin my paint job. Really? Is that what you're worried about? You can be vain at times. Anyway, since I'm evil, yogurt shooter activate. Diesel 10 prepared to fire as James raced into the entrance of the diesel works. 3, 2, 1, now! He cried. Percy's driver threw the corn into the yogurt cannon, which clogged them up, and Diesel 10 crashed into the building. Ah! Cried Diesel 10. Still no toppings! At last, James and Percy arrived at Titmuth Sheds. Percy spoke first. I'm sorry for being the super stooge, James. Can you forgive me? Absolutely, replied James. Let's just put this superhero stuff behind us, okay? You bet! Next time, you can wear a suit and I'll be unfunny, puffed Percy. And from now on, no more iron engine, replied James. Just then, the fat controller arrived. Ha ha! I'm Iron Engine! Then Peter rushed him, pushing the fat controller into the turntable well. Now I'm Iron Engine! Sir? Sir? I am so caused confusion and delay.